Hi everybody, Ross and my Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that bell icon so you're made aware of any time we put new content on. We have interviews going up daily, but you know, sometimes I'm in a good mood. You know, your team might have just beaten Norwich 4-0, or you know, we turn over Watford 4-0 tonight, he says, wishful thinking. But and I might put 2 or 3 on. So, you know, make sure you hit that bell icon, because every interview, every memory is priceless. And we're sort of, you know, categorizing all these great memories. We've got lots of great guests coming up, lots of great ex-players. You'll see who I'm interviewing already. So I'm trying to rattle through this introduction because I want to talk to him lots. I mean, Dev doesn't need any introduction. You know, over 448 games, I think, for the club. You know, 32 goals, FA Cup winner, obviously 85, 86. And as I said to him before we started, he's appeared in a third of our 11s, and we've had over 120 people with their 11s. So it's impressive stuff. How's it going, Alan? How you doing, man?
I'm fine, thank you, Russ. I'm fine. It's strange times, but we just have to get on with it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we do, unfortunately. There's nothing we can do about it, is it? And and we've all learned something today. We've had fun trying to sort out the Zoom call and stuff, but we all learned something. You know, it's a learning process, this lockdown. It continues to
be. Well, I'm old school, so as long as I've got a text and I've got a phone, I'm okay.
Yeah, I know. Some people I know don't even have a mobile phone. I mean, yeah, I think Billy doesn't have a mobile phone, does he? I remember famously.
I think he borrows his daughters. Yeah, he borrows his daughters, I think, now and again to get in contact with people. Yeah,
it's amazing. But obviously, you know, we've got football back. It's crazy to think, you know, the season's over next week, and like we've played 9 games in 4 weeks. I mean, you know, back in 85, 86, you were playing that regularly towards the end of the season, weren't you?
Yeah, we played. Yeah, I mean, we played something like 15 games in 31 days, something like that. It was mad. That the April, I think it was, because we had a bad winter and all that, and we had games and we was playing all the time. So and we was going for the league at that time. So mad.
Oh, it's crazy.
But football, like, listen, you rather play games than train, so
of course.
It can work both ways, you know. So as long as you don't get no injuries and that, and you just go on and on and on, and when you're winning, it becomes a habit anyway. So you know, it's only when you're getting beat your legs feel heavy. When you're winning, it's you feel great.
Yeah, no, I get that, and you're right. It's almost like, and you haven't got time to. Oh, my dog's going mental typically. You haven't got time to recover, you know, to dwell, because you've got another game happening, you know, in a few days' time, haven't you? So it's quite nice in that way.
You like playing twice a week. You like playing, you know, sometimes it's 3 or 4 times a week, but that's normal now to play twice a week, I think, anyway. So it keeps you fit. Games keep you fit. Much training as you can do, and it's the games that keep you fit and sharp. So so at the end of the day, I would love to be playing now. So with all these games coming up, just a strange thing behind closed doors. It's weird. It does seem weird.
It is weird. I mean, obviously, I'm fortunate enough to be one of those 300. You know, obviously, I play the music there and stuff. So it is weird. It is weird. And I've been to some games, you know, the under 23 games where you might have, I don't know, 200-300 people in attendance, but to have no one that you can actually hear the people typing, the journalists typing on their things, which is really weird. But it is what it is, isn't it? There's nothing we can do about it.
That's right. Listen, we've got the games going, and it's got to be better than having points per game and calculation, getting people relegated. And at least, you know, they've done the right thing with it all. Leagues further down, it's you know, to relegate teams, I think, is a bit of a disgrace, to be fair.
And you could just imagine the litigations and all the issues if we did do a points per game base, you know, but if we didn't finish the season off, in terms of people suing and counter. I mean, we remember the Sheffield United West Ham debacle with Tevez, and that went on for years, didn't it? And so you're right.
Yeah, the FA and the government could kill that. No disrespect. This is we're into a war here. You know, it's an invisible war. People are dying every day.
True.
And football's not that important to, you know, and to me, it should just be null and void, and it should have been restart and all that. You know, I look at the Premier League and all that, and it's about the money. They need the money, which is fair enough. They need it to survive with the economy that it is. But you know, to get teams relegated with 9-10 games to go, I just think it's totally unfair.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting last week or so, I think. Now.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting tonight. Tonight's a big game.
Oh, it's massive, and I mean, it's always the way, isn't it, Alan? As long as it's in your hands, I don't like relying on other teams, and we've seen in the last 2 or 3 sort of rounds of matches that the teams around us are starting to put some. They're going for like a final spurt, it seems, and
yeah.
But it is.
With winter night done.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it would mean Villa putting about 8 past us, then, or something. In the last game. But that's the thing. The goal difference. It's another point, isn't it? Really, it's another point, really. But luckily they Theo Walcott. God, at times we used to boo him at Arsenal when he came down, and he was our somewhat of a saviour. 87 minutes.
Yeah, he done us a favour. Yeah, he done us a favour.
But his old man's a West Ham fan, I believe. Richard Digest told me about that the other day. that Theo Walcott's dad is a Hammer. So obviously it must have been a bit. I'm sure his dad was happy afterwards. When it all happened. But the whole idea of this channel is not necessarily to look forward, but to look back. And it's about memories, and it's about understanding people's journeys, players and fans. And for basically all the players, the one question I ask every player is why West Ham? So why join West Ham? And your story is, an incredible story for no one that's heard of it. So we'll probably go through it. You're probably a bit sick of talking about it, to be honest, Alan, but that's what we like to do. So how did it all happen with West Ham and you?
Well, I was at Palace as a kid. Yeah. Playing in the youth team and that every week. I weren't like an apprentice or nothing like that, but I turned up every Saturday morning to playing games, and they had about 60 professionals and apprentices, and they were massive, like the club at the time. My dad used to play for them as well, so it was automatically I kind of went there. They promised me pro terms when I got to 18. What happened was Burhead was the manager then. He got sacked, and Malcolm Allison come in. And he got rid of 6 of us without even seeing us play, and I was one of them. So, of course, after being told you're going to sign pro and then suddenly it ain't going to happen, I was a bit devastated. I kind of fell out of love with the game and that. And then my dad got hold of me and said, rattled me around the head and whatever, sort yourself out, what's the matter with you? And I ended up going non-league, going to Southall. I had 18 months there, which was great. It was fantastic football. I was getting kicked lumps out of it, toughened me up, and it learnt me to trade. It learnt me as a kid going into men's football. So, and then I had a few clubs watching me over the 18 months. I think it was Reading, Southampton. I went to Brentford. I played a midweek game for Brentford because I was working at the time. I was working at Hoover's as well in the day. So I had a job as well. So the football was only part time, and. They said play a midweek game. I said, yeah, fine. I played in a midweek game, and they wanted me to play the following week. And I said, well, it's fine, but I've got to have a day off work because it was a long travelling away. I said, you're going to pay my wages for me missing a day's work. And they went, no. And I said, well, I'm not playing then. So I said, I'm not playing. I said, why? I'm doing you a favour as well as myself. Yeah. But that ended that. And then I remember playing a game on a Tuesday night. And so Reading and Southampton come in, but the manager at the time, Jeff Taylor, was really, great man, nice man. He's still going strong now. I think he's coaching for Scotland for Stoke, I think he is at the moment. So, but he's still going. He's in his 80s. He's unbelievable, Jeff. But he was my manager at the time. And to be fair, he pulled me to one side. He said, look, there's a big club been watching you now for the last 5 or 6 games. So he said, just be patient. So the Reading Southampton, they want me to go on a game, and I just said no. I said, because I thought, well, you can see what's on the pitch, so I really didn't want to have trials again, So anyway, I played on the Tuesday night, and Jeff said to me, he said, there's a couple of people outside want to see you, and it was Charlie Faulkner, who'd watched me for the last 6 games, and Eddie Bailey, who was the chief scout at the time, and they come to me and said, look, we like what you see. It's West Ham. Wow, you know what I mean? Won the World Cup. So it was like, yeah, wow. And they said to me, we'd like to sign you on Thursday. So we didn't talk money and nothing like that. So I said, it took me like 2 seconds. I said, yeah, great.
Yeah.
So I think they paid 5,000 for me. So I got 5% of the value of that 5,000. So I got £250 signing on fee at the start when I signed the contract. I signed a year's contract on £100 a week. I was earning £80 odd at Hoover's, working Hoover's, and I was earning £32 at Southall. Sorry.
So you were out of pocket.
Yeah, so I actually took the chance, and that 1 year, Ron Greenwood and John Lyle were there, and they said to me, look, you know, we don't think you'll be around the first team, but we'd like to see you progress and all that. And that was it, really. So, and then I went in, and I think the first day training, I met all the lads on a Monday, and we was doing running around the red grey, you know, on the outside of the pitch and that.
Yeah. And
I had all this kit on because the kit man, he gave me this load of kit when I went in, and I thought, there's piles of it. And I'm looking across, and there was Terry Erlock, and he's a bit overweight, Terry Erlock, but he's putting all this stuff on, and the black bag and all that, and I've had all this stuff, so I stuck it on and all, and I'm thinking and I was like a rake. I was 10 stone 10.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I've gone. So of course you're in the press. I'm like with the reserves, and the first team were training after us. So anyway, I've done some runs and that, and we've done these, and I've souped off, and because I was quick and that. So I'm in front of the runs, and we've done half a dozen. I think, I feel a bit faint here, so I sat down and passed out. I've actually conked out. So they called Rob the physio to come and see me, like, and all that. And in the meantime, the lads had finished. So he's sitting me up and all that. And then the first team lads are on it, like Bonzo, Trevor and all that. And the first time they said hello to me was when I'm lying on the track.
Oh,
That's the first time that was the first time I'd seen them. So yeah, then listen, it all happened very quickly. You know, we trained against the first team and all that in training. And I played on the Saturday for the reserves, played on the Monday for the reserves, and I got a call on the Monday night from John Lyle saying, we're playing QPR in the League Cup on the Tuesday. He said, I want you to just come along and just sit in the stands and just get the atmosphere of first team, you know, football and all that. And I said, fine. So I didn't even tell anyone or whatever. So I went along, and John pulled me in the office about 6:30 and said, are you okay to play? I went, sorry? He said, well, I said, well, yeah, of course. And what had happened in the daytime, I think there's a couple of boys got injured in training. And I think John pulled Trevor, Bonzo and Frank Lampard Sr. in to have a chat. And John said, I'm thinking of putting the young boy in. And the three of them, I think, said, yes, it's a good idea, kind of thing. And that was it. That was my first game against QPR, and which was my team, because I lived that side. So I used to go and watch them as a kid, like Rodney Marsh and all that when they were playing. So to play against QPR, when they were top side then, they were second in the league then, I think. And it was funny because Parksy was in goal then and all that. And he turned out to be one of my best mates. So, yeah, so we ended up playing. We lost 2-0. I think when I joined, we had something like 6 points. We hadn't won a game. Yeah. I joined in September, and I think I made my debut. I think it was about October 22nd, I think, 1976, when we played QPR. And then it's kind of rest was history then, really. And I was part of the team then for a long time. So, right.
Fantastic. And that's what I love, Alan. I love the stories of the debuts. But I remember speaking to, it's going to annoy me now. I think it was Leroy Rossini, and he was picked up on the Friday and turned up at the gate at Upton Park on the Saturday with the number 9 shirt. Off you go. And same as you, it's it's relatively from non-league, and then a few weeks. That's it. In the first, it happened.
3 weeks. It worked out 3 weeks from when I signed for the club that I played in the first team.
That's absolutely. And then then the rest, as I said, is history. I mean, you had, the FA Cup wins, obviously the famous 85, obviously the injury, 85, 86. And it was definitely a golden era, for West Ham. What was it like? What was it like being? Because obviously, what you don't get nowadays is that sort of level of. As you said, you played for West Ham for many, 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 many years, and you don't get that in the modern game now. I mean, I interviewed Tony Gale. Every year that he was at the club was a testimonial year by 1 year. So you must have had a real togetherness with sort of the squad as a team going through all those times. And what was it like? Obviously with Bonzo
it's brilliant. It's like a family, and we still, the 80 team we got together last year and that, and we're still all good mates, and we get on and we phone up, and especially through these times of how are we and hope family's okay, and it's great. It's just part of it. But then it was football first, money second. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. We played for the love of the game. It wasn't about money. Contracts come second. Now at the end of the day, there's so much in it. Good luck to them. I'm not thinking, but I do. It wrangles me when they can't play twice a week. We used to play on pitches that, where mud baths and that sometimes. And we had people kicking us and stamping on us and things like that. And it's something you just took to and that's my only gripe with it is, don't tell me you can't play twice, 3 times a week. Do you know what I mean? On these pitches, we used to train hard and that. People said there was a drinking culture. Yeah, there was with some, but we're all professionals. We're all professionals, and we love the game, and that's what I love training. I love the games. That playing at West Ham was like, God, every time you went out there, the fans were great. As long as you gave everything, that's all they ever asked. But then, if people are, going through the motions, and we've seen that in the last few years and years before, they know, and they want people that work hard, and that's one thing that at the end of the day, that is all you ask from anyone. You've got to work 110%. You're lucky. You're doing the best job in the world. Yeah. It's the best job in the world being a footballer. Yeah. Every fan would want to be a professional footballer, want to be on that pitch at Upton Park, now at the London Stadium. But it's just fantastic because you can't take it away now as well. It's always there, what you've achieved and what you've done, and it's great memories for me. Yeah, to come from non-league and I say everyone wanted to be a footballer. Yeah. I was over the park, 35 aside on after school until you get kicked out the park at 10:30. So now the parks are empty. They're not that. We just kids now more rather be on the computer, which is sad. Yeah. Which is sad. But
I know what you mean.
But listen, it was a great time and best time of my life being a footballer, without doubt.
What's it like? What's it like to walk out at Wembley at FA Cup final?
It's just surreal because it was funny. You talked about the cup final, and we actually on the Friday night we was in the stadium. We went to Wembley Dogs on the Friday night as a team.
Oh wow!
We actually went to there was greyhound racing at Wembley Stadium on the Friday night. So I think there was Phil Parks, David Cross, and Rob Jenkins was the only ones that stayed back in the hotel. The rest of us went to the Wembley Dogs and all that. I think probably Parksy and Crossy and Rob probably finished off a bottle of champagne or something on a Friday night where we was having cokes and water and that. But we had a good time before, and we got back about 10:30 and then went to bed, and then getting up for Wembley. When FA Cup final is everything. Yeah, it's sad now that it's not as important as it was.
No, then. I agree. Totally, and it's
end of the season, the league's finished. It's a week to go. The papers were full of interviews with players and that, all leading up to the biggest game of the season, which is the FA Cup final. Mm. And now, sadly, that is not the same anymore. But it's no disrespect, but it's the only thing that maybe West Ham can win now with the situation with the Premier League clubs. And it does wrangle me now that they don't take it seriously and that,
No, you're right. You're totally right. You're right.
For the fans, it's fantastic. And for the players to walk at Wembley.
And it's one of those, and it's one of those things. You're right. I mean, it's you know, as a West Ham fan, we're not in it for the football. We're never going to win anything. We know that we're not going to win the Premier League. But you're right. It's the trouble is obviously.
Russ, let me stop you there. If Leicester can do it, why can't West Ham?
No, you are totally right. And I think, unfortunately, that is the exception to the rule. I really think so. I think for West Ham fans, you're right. We just want, for me now. I mean, everyone. And it's quite funny in hindsight. We always used to criticise, the Kerbishley years, the Allardyce years, boring football. But they got us to 10th or 11th. They got us safe, and then we could, and that's I think what we want to do. Next season, I'd love us to be, come January before we've even started the FA Cup to be in a top 10, 30 points on the board or something like that, and have a go. Because I think you're right. We know obviously 2006 we were at Cardiff, obviously for the FA Cup final, and obviously we were really a second away from not winning that game. And it's for the I don't call them young fans, for the inexperienced fans, we haven't had a 1980 or even an 85-86, finishing third and going for the title. We won the Intertoto Cup in '99. We won a bit of European glory, but I'm totally with you. It really winds me up. But also, I love the fact. I mean, I remember very, very, very vaguely. It was a whole day on telly, wasn't it? Like it was in
the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And you'd follow the coaches, and you had
interviews with the wives and all before the game and all that. So it was just brilliant because, as I say, the build up the whole week.
Yeah,
it was all about the FA Cup final. The Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, right leading up. It was all about the FA Cups. Pull-outs in the papers and everything of the two teams. And now it's suddenly gone second to money, because that's what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
Money, league and all that. And,
it's on a 5.
League Cup is they're great occasions. Or they were.
Right, you are totally right, and you're right. I mean, now it's at 5:30 on a Saturday, isn't it? There's no. It's after that week of that Saturday fixtures have happened, and I used to remember they used to have like the players who weren't obviously playing in the final. They used to have like little competitions, didn't they? Like the fastest runners on the pitch, and they used to do like long throw competition, and they used to make it a bit more of an event. I totally agree.
It's never going to come back like that, and it's sad. It is so sad because it is about the fans. They make out about the TV and the money they get, but it's about the fans. Fans keep the club going. They're the base of everything. So at the end of the day, that's what people should be thinking about: is what they want, what the club want for the fans. And at the end of the day, I was a fan going back of football and whatever, but at the end of the day, I played for West Ham for a long time, and they're just the best fans, without doubt, the best fans in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And no one will ever tell me any different.
No,
they understand the game, and listen, they can be harsh.
Oh yeah.
At the end of at the end of the day, I've seen them rip into people and that. But at the end of the day, if you're not giving your all for the club, then why not?
Exactly. No, you're totally right. And I think since restart, you can see how important the fans are to the enjoyment of a game. I mean, it's sterile, as you said, practice matches. There's no.
It's so slow.
Yeah.
It's so slow games. There's no intensity about it. It's no. We played behind. I remember playing behind closed doors once. We played Castilla in the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Yes.
And
yes.
We lost leg 3-1, and we had to play behind closed doors then. And it's just weird because you can hear the manager shouting every word. There was a few ball boys in the crowd, and you could hear each other shouting and whatever. It is weird, but at the end of the day, that's what you get paid for.
Yeah,
it should be no different. It's just but the crowd is. I remember when I first walked out at Upton Park, the QPR game, and the back of my neck was, all my hairs were standing on the back of my neck with the atmosphere, just the tunnel and that, and I'm just sitting there. I went, wow, God, so the thing like shit yourself,
Yeah.
But that's how it was, and that's the buzz you get, you know, having them fans behind you and that. So, it's weird now. But listen, as I said before, it's better having the games than doing points per game and getting teams, you know, the top 4 or whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and obviously, you know, you had the accolade. There's only a few of you. Obviously, won the FA Cup in '80, and then did the '85-'86 season. Which, when I interviewed TC, something like 17 club records that are still active from that season. It's absolutely phenomenal. You know, it's like, and you know, talking to Macca and TC, that they talk about you in the highest regard, and actually they both said word for word the same. You said the same thing to them in terms of, you know, I'm going to have 3 men on me, you know, I'm going to knock it behind, and they word for word was exactly the same instructions to TC and Macca. It was really, really funny. But that season was just incredible, wasn't it? I mean, obviously, as you said, you played all those games towards the end and still winning. The team bond, the team spirit must have been, it's probably off the chart.
We was lucky then because we didn't get many injuries. I'd actually been out 18 months before. I smashed my knee in 1984, January the 7th, 7 minutes into the game at home to Wigan in the FA Cup 3rd round. And I was out 18 months. So that was my first year back. I think I played 2 games just the season before, but the knee was nowhere near right. And I said to John wanted the club was struggling, and he asked me to play in an FA Cup game against Wimbledon. I said, John, I can't move, I can't. He said, just you being on the pitch will help the players. So I said, well, look, I'll do it, but I've got to go back into hospital and my knee bent back. So I played and we drew 1-1 at Wimbledon, and we beat them 5-1 at our place. And then I had to make sure, because the knee was, you know, it's just swollen and sore. So I went back and had it bent back 4 or 5 times because I smashed 3 ligaments out of 4, completely snapped in the tackle I had. And they put my hamstring in the middle of my knee. I didn't have a lot of movement in my leg and my knee. I only had 90% instead of 120. So it'd only go up. So when I sprinted, it didn't really come through. So I had to change my game a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Because before the injury, I would say I was really quick, lightning quick. And then I've lost that. I was kind of 3/4 pace. I was fine. I could do everything, twist and turn. But when it actually come to the explosion of sprinting off, the leg wouldn't come through. The movement wasn't in the knee. So I had to change my game a little bit, which lucky I did. And it worked the way we played in the '85-'86. With Waldy out on the right and the 2 boys up top and the defence and that. So it just worked a treat. And we had a good side then. But so did the 80s side was a good side along. So I was lucky to probably play in the 2 best sides that the club's ever had, really. And played with some good players then. And we just had a system that worked for us on the '85-'86 season, and we should have won the league. Yeah. Without doubt, we should. I remember talking to a couple of Liverpool lads and all that, and they said we were the best team. Yeah. And we was that year. But I think we started off poor. I think we only won 1 of the first 7 or something like that. And then when we played all them games, I think we lost to Chelsea at home 2-1, which cost us. Gale had to come off injured. I think Neil went at the back, and I think he made a couple of mistakes. But at the end of I think that was the only game we lost out the last maybe 10, 11 games. Apart from the Everton game when it was all over, to be fair. So it was sad. It was sad because I just felt the boys deserved it, because we had such a good balance, and there were so many performances of players playing at a certain level throughout that season. You know, and it was so enjoyable to play in and all that. You know, the 80 team and it's just so enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. As you've been very fortunate enough to play in those 11s, and obviously there was a bunch who did both. You know, yourself included, and Yeah, I mean, obviously nowadays, Alan, if a player gets injured, and I always look at Michael Owen and people like that, but they never they don't reinvent themselves. They carry on doing the same way. And as you said, you couldn't do that, so you had to reinvent yourself, and you became a different player, really, and it was to our benefit.
Yeah, it worked. It worked because the balance of the team, it worked out. I kind of tucked in off the left, where before I was kind of up and down the line and all that. I didn't really hit the line as much as I did before. And Waldy was more of an out-and-out winger, where I was more kind of a tucked-in left-sided midfield player, I would say. But just the balance of the team as well. We had Alan Dickens in there. We had Pikey and Neil who kind of shared it, and we had a good back four. And the two boys up front, the two boys up front as well. We had Paul Goddard as well, who I felt a little bit sorry for, because I rated Sarge highly as well. But TC and Mac were having it off. So, we had three good strikers, real good strikers as well. So it just all worked. It just all clicked at the right time. So it was great.
And speaking of the 11s, as we do, that's the whole idea of this channel. So the idea is we try and get fans and players to give an 11, and it's going to be really hard for you. I appreciate that, but for the players, it tends to be the players they played with, and obviously you've played for arguably two of the greatest in the greatest 11s, although there were a few, so you might be all right who did both. But it'd be really cool to do your 11. What we try and do is keep it to a 4-4-2 more than anything. But if you do something different, it's fine. I'm getting soft in my old age, I think. I mean,
4-4-2's good.
Nice one. I mean, as a football manager, I thought you might do something a little bit more. Some people do something crazy, but in terms of your 11, I could probably guess your goalkeeper. Who would your goalkeeper be, Alan?
Well, when I went there, we had Mervyn Day, Bobby Ferguson, and then we signed Parksy. Yeah. So he's one of my best mates as well. So I can't leave one of my best mates out of the team. But listen, he was a world-class keeper. He was the best keeper. I was lucky enough to play with Shilton and Clements and that. And to me, Parksy's the number one. To me, the size of him and all that, he's like a gentle giant and that. And I had to run with him for about 10 years as well and look after him and make him coffee in the morning. So, listen, it's Parksy. Parksy's, to me, was one of the best keepers in the world at that time. Yeah, we had Shilton, Clements, and Parksy, and plus he's one of my best mates as well. Yeah,
we got to put him in there.
He won't talk to me, but there's no doubt about it. 100% Parks.
Oh no, it's out of shadow of doubt. Right, I'll put Parksy in. Let's go left back. Who do we have left back then?
Well, that's tough. That's tough for me because I played with Frank Lampard Senior for a long time. Yeah. Then you've got Steve Walford come in, Georgie Parrish, Smokey E come in, and then Julian Dix come in at the end of my career kind of thing. And I didn't really play with Julian as much as I would like to have played with him. And I know he gets yumped when I say, but I'd have to go Frank Lampard Senior because I played with him for so long. Yeah, of course. He knew, what he done was, wherever he was on the pitch, he'll give me the ball wherever I was on the pitch. Yeah. So if he got it on the edge of his own box, he'll give me the ball 3 or 4 yards into my feet. So he knew, and he knew I was right-footed, so he'd always serve it onto my right foot. So we had a great understanding, me and Frank Lampard Senior. So sorry, Dixie, all right? At the end of the day, I didn't play with you that long, but it'd have to be Frank Lampard Senior.
Yeah, totally. Right, we'll put Frank Senior in. Right back. Who would be your right back?
Well, Smokey played there a little while, Georgie Parrish. We had John McDowell coming. When I first played in the team, Billy Bonds played there.
Of course,
When I played on the right side, because I played on the right when I first got in the side. Bonzo actually played right back. But again, there's only it's Tonka, Ray Stewart he was great lad. He's a lovely lad. Still get on so well now. We always speak to each other and that. It's got to be Tonka. The old ice ball penalties he used to take and that. But it'd have to be Ray Stewart.
Yeah, Tonks is in. Yeah, the good shout. Right, centre halves. Again, I reckon I've got a good chance. You seven. I guess you seven halves, but who would they be?
You could be surprised on this one.
Okay.
I've been looking at this because if I was looking at it, because one of my best mates played there, and then you got, which is Tony Gale. You got Stretch, Alvin.
Sorry, Alan. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my wife just bought a new bike. Sorry about that. Carry on. Sorry, Alan.
Alvin Martin and Bonzo played there. Tony Gale played there. I would go for Alvin Martin as definitely one.
Yeah.
Stretch.
Yeah.
Good player, Stretch. Who's dominant in the air. He would tell you he tried to overdo it and all that at times, and Bonzo sorted him out and told him that he's a top player, Alvin, and we get on well as well. So, and then the next centre half, I was going to go Tony Gale.
Yeah,
I'm going to put Gale because he won't talk to me again if I don't put him in.
Gale put himself in it. Gale put himself in and made himself captain, penalty taker, free kick taker, manager and first team coach and director of football.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Well, he would have told you about the goal he scored against Liverpool when he 4-1 in the free kick. He must have told you that over and over again. I'd go Gale and Alvin because I had a great understanding as well. Later in the team, you'll know why I've done that. So so they're the two centre halves, Alvin and Gale.
Yeah,
but Gale wouldn't talk to me, Steve. And he picks me up now and takes me places, so I'd like to put Gale in.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be a quite car journey. Otherwise, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, right. He's a good player. Yeah, Gale was a good player.
Oh, he was. Yeah. And
very underrated. Very underrated.
And you're right. And them two together just worked, didn't they, as a combo?
Yeah, they weren't the quickest, but they both read the game perfect. They never got done in behind and that because they always gave us out a yard. Yeah, they're both good footballers as well, top footballers.
Yeah, no, totally cool. Let's go into midfield. You going to put yourself left midfield? I think you've got to.
Well, I think so. I'll have to probably put myself there because I'm looking at, I was there for a long time really, and then I think Stuart Slater, Kevin Keane was there. When I first went there, I think Graham Padden was there. But I only played about half a season with Graham Padden. So yeah, I'll put myself there on that one.
That's an easy one. Of course you can. Right. If you hadn't, I would have insisted you did. To be honest, Alan was there too. Right. Let's go right midfield. Go on, man.
Again, we had Patsy Holland and we had Mark Ward. They both done well for the club. Paul Allen played in that position as well as in the middle sometimes. Ollie was 17, the youngest player ever to play, in the cup final. So
yeah.
It's hard, but I'd have to go Mark Ward because of the balance of the 85, 86. And I think he had about size 5 feet. He had the smallest feet ever. But he was a good lad and a real good footballer and done great for us that season. Absolutely done great. And he's a good lad as well. So I'd have to go Mark Ward off the right.
I agree. And, he's a lovely guy as well. So I put Ward in. Centre midfielders. Who have we got? Alan?
Well, the top two.
Yeah.
The top two. Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking.
Yeah.
Bonzo could play anywhere. Bonzo played at the back. I played with Bonzo at the back. I played with Bonzo at right back. I played with Bonzo in midfield. Because it's so hard with the others. We had Alan Dickens had a great, fantastic season, the 85, 86 season. But it was just really the one season, and you had Neil or you had Pike here and that. So that's why I plumped for Bonzo in there and Trevor.
You got to.
The two probably the best players and the best people as well. It's when I look back and knowing them and how much they helped me when I first joined the club, they always had time for me to talk to them and they helped me along, and they were just two people that you looked up to so much, Bonzo was just at it all the time, every time in training, and he used to always say when we was one-on-one, he used to always want me, so he'd try and kick me and I'll run him and things like that, and always one-on-ones with me and Bonzo. So yeah, he's great respect for the man and top man Bond Rowe. And then you got Trevor, who to me is like 6'2" and all that. Never really made a tackle, but wow, he could play. And the biggest compliment I could give Trevor is you knew what he was going to do, but you could not stop him from doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people played against him and he rolled them and they knew what he was going to do, but they couldn't stop him from doing it. So them two and that and Wardy there and myself there,
tasty.
That's some midfield.
Could do a few. Could do a few of you tonight, to be honest. But also, I mean, again, something which again I feel it's weird. But looking back, obviously, I've been watching a lot of, as you do, lots of old football and stuff, and I think about the '85. I think about that Chelsea game away, and how crap the pitches were those days, and you guys were still doing your thing, and that's what we wouldn't give to get that team playing at the bowling green at London Stadium. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, it must have been, because it's just phenomenal. That Chelsea game was awful.
Yeah. People say, like you say, do you think you could play in today's football?
Yeah.
I know. My answer was it's a piece of piss now. Right, but my answer would be, could today's players playing the football we play?
Exactly. When
you're getting kicked and the pitches. But Chapel Heath was a heap. Chapel Heath was it ain't like it is today.
No.
So you had to have good touch to in training. You had to make sure you had good touch, even though it was a bumpy pitch then. Yeah. So it's something we was brought up on. So that's the norm then. It was the normal then. The same. But no, I think it helped us and all that. But it does make me laugh when they say, could you play in today's football? They keep saying it's quicker, and I'm thinking, you're having a laugh.
Yeah.
It's no way quicker. It might look quicker because the pitches are quicker and all that, but I'm seeing players that can't hardly move, and centre-halves are having 99% passing and all that, and the most touches on the ball are centre-halves. How's that work out?
No.
Shows you the ball's at the back too much, and it's so slow sometimes. So it does make me laugh with the game today. To be fair, I get bored with it sometimes because you want to see action, you want to see the ball in the box, not say bang it and all that, but you want to see controlled football. We were a very direct team to the point that we got it. I was looking for forwards. I ain't going to pass the ball back to my fullbacks or centre halves. What they're going to do is put it up the pitch. So we was brought up to actually play and pass through the lines and get the ball down into space beyond the centre half for our forwards to run onto. And we were very direct, but it was a passing game.
Yeah.
And and that was something that John and Ron Greenwood brought up on us. That's all we ever done. But we look forward, and there's nothing wrong with that. I look at it today, and I'm thinking, I see the ball on the edge of the box. They're attacking, and they pass it all the way back to in the half again to go out the other side. And I think surely, you've got one or two people to beat or play a 1-2, attack people. But I don't know if they're told to do that or what. But surely you just got to play how you see it. And I think when we played, even the pitches were bad, but it was more exciting. It was more exciting for the fans.
Oh, totally. I totally agree. You're right. I think it's a possession game now. More than anyone. It seems that people are scared of trying anything. As you said, it's all about getting possession. And I remember Arsenal, wasn't it? Famously, you would try and walk it into the back of the net, and it was that sort of like keep the ball. It's my ball. And you're right. It's about excitement, and people want to be entertained. They want to be entertained with football. Grinding out a 0-0. Although I've just criticised the Allardyce years and stuff, but grinding out a 0-0, or 1-0, people want to see goals. They want to be entertained, and
What's the result? At the end of the day, you want to get the good results on it.
It's a balance.
There's going to be bad games. There's going to be games where you can't be at the same standard for 40-odd games a season. Yeah. It's impossible to be human. But you're going to have as a player, you're going to have 15 games when you're red hot, and you make the most of it. There's other times where I don't feel 100% a day, but you still do your job and still don't change anything. Yeah. And I look at it, you pass for a purpose. You pass to get to A to B as quick as possible, surely. The quicker the ball can go down the side of a centre forward or into their feet, it's got to be better than passing across. It'd drive me nuts now. It would drive me nuts.
Oh, well, no, it's one of those things, isn't it? I think it's just the way everything changes.
Maybe that's like me getting old, just being an old fart now. But again, the thing that, and again, it's not. I'm probably fully in football for the '90s, so not that. But I've seen a change, and what really pisses me off about the modern game is not having wingers doing what wingers do best. So flying down the wing on the right side of their foot and beating the fullback and crossing it in. They like Liverpool, they always have the left foot on the right side, the right foot on the cutting, and that really pisses me off. In my era of West Ham, seeing like Matthew Etherington, just like literally just running like you used to do in your first spell, sort of running, just pace, beating men for pace. And when Antonio was on the right, sometimes rather than cut in, just beat the fullback and cross it in. You got to have the right people in the box. Yeah, they don't anymore. That's the thing that I was always taught at the end of the day. You hit the byline, and you cut it across the 6-yard box. You got defending centre halves running back to their own goal, and sometimes you get them putting it in the back of their own net, and it's up to the forwards to get in. But now it's dying. It's dying. As you say, they're coming inside and they're popping it through the middle, and that's why I think you're getting these funny results. At the end of the day, it should be a direct way of playing. A winger should get the ball, take it down the line, beat people. If he's got to play a 1-2, if he draws 3 or 4, there's someone got to be spare. Yeah. But not back in square, please. Not back in square.
No, you're totally right. Okay. Yeah. We've put the road to right on that, Alan. I think definitely. Right. Let's put the B&B in the middle. Bonds are booking up front. Who are we having up front for the Devonshire 11?
Oh, this is going to be hard as well. So. I played with Brian Pop Robson.
Yes.
The first season, I played with Crossy, played with Paul Goddard, Tony Cotty, Frank McAvenny. It's something like there's 5 strikers there that have got the wow factor, 2 of them. Pop only played with for a year, so I suppose I can discount him for that one. Sarge, I suppose, because of what Frank and TC done on the 86. So 2 out of 3, David Cross, McAvenny, 2 out of 3.
Well, whoever it is, we can put the other as we'll have your one sub, so you can.
Yeah, well, them 3 are definitely. But to look about for what they've done for the team and all that, it's very difficult. I must have been very difficult.
Of course,
I'd have to go Frank.
Yeah,
I'd have to go Frank. He done great when he came. He comes a midfield player.
Yeah.
he ended up up front, and we all knew about his escapades outside the game. But boy, he's a great lad. Great lad. Didn't like training.
No.
Didn't like training. But when it come to the pitch, he put his heart on the line for the team and that. And Frank was a top player and a great lad. Yeah. So I'd have to go for McAvenny.
Yeah.
No, might have to get the coin out for the other one with TC. Because Crossy was brilliant. Crossy was brilliant for us in the 80 team. He's old-fashioned centre forward, but he could play as well. He'd hold it up, score goals, and TC was a little terrier, lazy little so-and-so at one time and all that, and we had to tell him what to do. But a great finisher, great lad as well. It's hard, but I'd have to go Crossy.
Ooh,
sorry, T.
Yeah.
Sorry, T. But I'd have to go Crossy. I do apologise, T. So you won't talk to me now, will you? So, but I'd have to go. I was lucky in play. I said the Sarge played for England as well, same as CC, and he was a top player. And he was a bit unfortunate that them 2 had it off, so well on the 85-86 season.
Yeah.
But Crossy done it for a few years as well, and
he did.
He scored the 4 goals at Tottenham. There's not many people who do that as well. So I'd have to go in, but I do again TC. Sorry, mate.
TC's on the bench, first sub. We're all right.
Okay.
We'll interchange him in, don't worry. Alan, man, it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure chatting to you. I really enjoyed it. I love putting the modern game to rights with you as well, because it's nice to have a kindred spirit in that respect. I feel sometimes I'm a little bit of a lone wolf when it comes to my positioning on wingers and stuff. But no, it's lovely, man. Obviously, thank you so much for your time. And I know everyone watching will absolutely really appreciate you taking the time to talk about stuff, and it's lovely. Thank you, and appreciate obviously all the technical difficulties we've had getting onto it. No, it's been brilliant. Thank you.
Listen, just the West Ham fans, keep the faith.
Yeah.
Keep the faith and stay safe. That's all I want to say.
Exactly. And obviously thank you to everyone for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And for me and Alan, take care, stay safe, come on you Wines, big game tonight, come on you Wines, let's have it, come on. Thanks everyone, bye bye.